in response to the requests I have to how to set up a Gantt chart in Excel spreadsheet, I've created this video. So the first thing to do is set up your data. Here I've got tasks in this A column, the start date in the B column, duration in days in the C column, and the end date in the D column. So once your data is set up by its tasks and its start and end time with the duration between, you're ready to begin. So the first thing I do is pick insert. I'm going to go to bar graph, a horizontal bar graph stacked. So I choose that. Right now I got a blank chart area. That's fine. Right click on it and I'm going to go to select data. The first thing I want to do is add a data series. So right here you'll notice a legend and entry, add a series. I'm going to add a series. The one I'm most interested in is the start date. So for the series name I choose start date. And then for the series data I'm going to choose all this data here and hit enter. And then hit OK. Now I'm going to add another series. This series is going to be titled, the series name is going to be duration. The data is going to be the duration in days. And then hit enter. Now notice the bar graph's got this red and this blue. The blue indicates where the task starts and the red indicates its duration. So hit OK. Now the next thing I want to do is format the axis label. Notice that right here I can edit that and it's default by continuous numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So they're continuous real numbers. I'm going to hit edit and I want my task's name. Now for this example I used alphabetical order, task A, task B, task C. Yours might be different, that's fine. Hit OK. And then hit OK again. Now notice one thing's wrong though. On this horizontal axis, the dates look funny. First of all, they're hard to read. But second of all, they're inaccurate. So how to change that is this. I'm going to select the start date cells. I'm going to right click on those cells once they're selected and format those cells. Right now, they are in date setting. It's a traditional American style of representing date. I want to change that to number and then hit OK. I'm going to do the same thing for the end dates. I'm going to select those, right click, format cells, change them from date to general number, or just number. Hit OK. Now notice what it did. The computer calculates how many days. I'm not sure where it begins its days, but it calculated that 42,058 days is my start date. And my end date is 42,065. So here's my start date in a numerical form. Here's my end date in a numerical form. So once I do that, I'm going to right click on that axis and I'm going to go down to the bottom where it says format axis. Right here where it says axis options, my minimum was my start date. So I'm going to change that to fixed. Right now it's 42,054. I need it to be 42,058. Now just below that is the maximum axis option. That's going to be fixed too to the longest duration for this project, which was 42,065, my end date. So it's 66 right now. I'm going to change that to 65 and then hit close. Now I can change these back to the date format. So I'm going to select them again, right click, format cells, and let's change them back to date. Same thing with the end dates. Select them, right click on them, format cells, change them back to date. Hit OK. There's a few other things we got to do. Notice that my tasks categories, they're out of order. They start with I and work their way down to A. So, and the other thing is that my dates aren't very legible. Now I could stretch this chart till they're readable, but like I did in this example. But let's say we want to represent that a little different. So let me crunch it back together, right? And what I want to do is I'm going to right click on this axis and go to format axis. I'm going to change my axis option to categories in reverse order. This is going to flip them upside down so task A begins first and task I ends last. And hit close. Notice it flipped them upside down. Then I'm going to right click on this horizontal axis, format axis, and what I want to do is go to alignment and type in a custom angle of -45. Hit close. So we're almost done. One of the last things I'm going to do is delete this legend. And now notice that between the dates of 223 and 224, task A occurs. Between the dates of 224 and 225, task B occurs. The red represents the task duration. So what I'm going to do is right click on the blue and go to Format Data Series. I'm going to go to Fill and choose No Fill, making it invisible. Go to Border Color, choose No Line, making the line invisible. Hit Close, and then left click someplace. Now you'll notice that my Gantt chart is very similar to the one above it. Very simple.